What's up, you guys? Hey, so I'm going to do a recap on Logan Martin and pretty much give me a recap on my entire season. And just to get started, I hope that some of you guys that are watching might be able to learn from my mistakes, because I made a lot of mistakes. This has been by far my worst finishing year I've ever had, especially starting out. So, and I'm gonna go over all my mistakes and things that I made, and I'll just hope you guys can learn from them. I know I don't want this to turn into one of those videos where I'm like, oh, I lost a bunch of fish or anything. We're not gonna get into that. But let's go back to Logan Martin. So Logan Martin, I was throwing a Kitech jig, 3/8 ounce and a 1/2 ounce one, paired up with a Yamamoto 4-inch twin tail grub. This is also on a 733 Dobbins rod that's more designed for Cincos and horny toads and that kind of stuff, but it's a medium heavy action and it has a very fast tip. And I love working this when I'm working for spotted bass or anything. And spotted bass, smallmouth, those kind of baits. Paired up with 12-pound test fluorocarbon cigar on there. So, but I did this most of the day. But early in the morning, when I started out for the first hour and a half, I was burning a War Eagle spinnerbait. I can't remember the name of this color, but this color over the years has been great. I'm not a big spinnerbait guy, but when I do throw spinnerbaits, and in my situation where it was a shad spawn and I was targeting, majority of them were spotted bass, I was throwing this War Eagle spinnerbait. And also you can see there's a trailer hook on there. 20-pound test, medium heavy 734 Dobbins Fury rod. It's on their cheaper line, but it doesn't matter at that point because I'm burning this thing on a 7-1 reel, 20-pound test. I'm just ripping fish to the boat. That was my deal for Logan Martin. I was fishing underneath the Highway 20 bridge. I had 2 bridge pilings that were loaded with fish and a ledge that was nearby that I backed off later in the day. So with that said, I finished 122nd place. Yeah, I lost a couple pounds. I had 2 pounds, probably lost 2 pounds of fish because of dead fish. I had a live well pump go out on me, and I also caught my first fish in the morning. Was a decent, nice fish, a little over 2 pounds, and I had to release it because it was gonna die. So that's happened. That's uncontrollable. But what I can control is my season, and that's what I wanted to tell you guys about. My season's been terrible, and I'm the only one to blame for that. I call it laziness. It's basically being lazy, even from the get-go, even before I even started the first tournament. I finished the first tournament at Lake Okeechobee in 141st place, I think. And going into that tournament, I knew in my mind that I need to focus on this forward-facing sonar thing. And I'm not gonna get into forward-facing sonar or my ideas of what, if I think it's good or bad. But I knew I had to focus on it. I've been working hard with it, but I'm not in perspective mode and not on beds. And I knew that was what I needed to do. I needed to get my setup set up going there. I didn't. I was lazy. I went there going, I can catch them. I'll be a flipping fish, or I'll do something else. I ended up fishing a bedding area with the 80, 90 boats that were there. But I was in the corner where Scott Martin started his first day. I didn't know it was Scott Martin. I had no idea. But I do remember watching him right in front of me catch the first fish. There was 3 boats there catching fish in that corner, and there's probably about 12 of us there that weren't really getting anything. All of those guys were doing perspective mode, forward-facing sonar. That's it for the tournament for me. I don't even get into the rest of the day. I did catch a decent big-ass fish later on in the day. Going on to the next tournament, Lake Ouachita. Lake Ouachita, you know, stuff happens. I was really working hard on that one. I don't really have a lot of regrets other than I should have switched up what I was using for a better hookup ratio, but I got lazy and didn't want to change, meaning from treble hooks to chatterbaits. I should have just switched that up. I knew it, I felt it, and then after watching the Bassmaster live and watching one angler that was on the top 10 fishing the exact same banks as me, fishing a different bait, and his hookup percentage ratio was 100%. So that's me. But when I say it's my fault, I mean being lazy through the year. And when I mean lazy, I mean I used to pride myself on being the first one on the water in practice, the last one off the water in practice, and practicing hard. And I know, I don't know how to say this. I know everybody has adversity in their life and things that they can't control outside of the fishing world. Mine is my son. He's extremely sick. He's gotten sick at almost every single tournament I've taken off to. He's already got the worst illness in the world, but when he gets sick, it's serious. I mean, coming back from the first tournament, we were in the ICU for 7 days. Not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying that I think that when I was at these tournaments, I was more trying to just chill back and relax and have a good time and eat junk food and just relax. And when I should have been busting my butt working hard. You go to Santee Cooper. I did have a tough practice. I fished hard, but I didn't get up early. I didn't get super early in the morning. If I look at the time that I spent driving around, sleeping in or something, probably wasted half a day of practice, you know, easy, just messing around. I blame myself for that. And I found fish on beds. I did find some bed fish, so my game was bed fishing. I knew that there was a cold front coming. I knew that my shallow bed fish, I felt it, were not going to be there on day 2. They were there day 1. I was sitting in whatever, top 30, 20 something. I knew that it was going to get tough. Had I worked on my perspective mode viewing stuff? No, I didn't. And after watching Scott Martin, and there was another angler fishing a little bit offshore, out 4 or 5 feet of water with perspective mode, bed fishing, had I really focused and worked hard when I was home or just when I had time, and I had time to focus on that and work at it, I didn't. And it came back to bite me bad. It took me one more tournament to really realize, and that was a Logan Martin, that I've been lazy. And not working as hard as I should have. Because this Bassmaster Open field, I don't care what anybody says. I mean, I care. Everybody has their own opinions. I care what everybody says. The Bassmaster Open EQ field is the toughest competitive field in bass fishing right now. Yes, you have Bassmaster Elites. They're amazing fishermen. Yes, you have the Bass Pro Tour. You've got, you know, Hall of Famers. But when you're talking about 158 guys, and then you add in an extra bunch of locals or divisional guys, girls too, and there's a few girls fishing the EQs too as well, so I don't, but just want to say that. But if you add up all of that, there's so many anglers, and especially the EQ ones are so hungry. They have that drive. They're so hungry, from 18 years old all the way up to 60 years old, veterans. These guys are hungry trying to make the elites. It's a tough field. And with all that said, I ended up going to Logan Martin and being lazy again. Like I said, I pride myself on being first on the water. I think I was last on the water every day. I came in some days at 5 o'clock off the water. I should have stayed later. The last day of practice was a half day. Some of the roommates in the house, they're doing their thing. Nothing against them. They're doing their thing. They were on fish. They were happy to what they were doing. So they're all like, oh, we're not going out that last day. We're going to rest. You know, I was like, if you guys are resting, I'm going to rest too. No, I should have went out, because you know what? I wasn't really on them. I should have worked harder. And lesson learned, work harder, and work harder when you're not on the water. When you're at home, bust your butt. And I had a long drive home, thought about what I need to change up. I'm out of the points race. Pretty much I have to have a miracle happen, make like 5 top 10s in a row. You never know that, but more likely out of it. But I'm going to do my best to finish off the season and bust my butt. I mean, I came right back, and I'm putting on some weight, guys. I got back in the gym, so we're going to focus on that. And like I said, take care of my son. He's the most important thing in my life. And I know I worry about him, but he is, I need to understand that he's safe with Tara, and we have full-time nurses here. And I'm doing the best I can to, I can't get that out of my mind, but what I can do is focus on myself and my drive. I'm going to do it for him. I'm going to do it for him and work my butt off. So I'm looking forward to the next event in Oklahoma. It's 3.5 hours away. My family gets to come. Tara ran this big giant house. And So it's gonna be a good time. That's my pretty much, yeah, that's a wrap, guys. But I can tell you one thing, that I'm not gonna have any regrets at the next tournament. I'm gonna fish my butt off. I'm working my butt off right now. As soon as I got home, I work my butt off, and that way I have no excuses and no regrets at the next one.